It really seems like everywhere you look, people are talking about adolescence. Why has this show been so popular?
I mean, it's beautifully filmed, it's beautifully written, it's beautifully acted. It is a sort of wake up call, a very, very thoughtfully and sensitively done. It's just hitting a lot of chords for parents who maybe don't realize they think their kids are safe in their rooms playing a game and they don't know who they're talking to or what they're doing.
When you talk or listen to interviews with Stephen Graham about how he came about creating the show, he read a couple of news stories and thought, this is a horrible trend we're seeing. Let's start a conversation. Does this start that conversation?
I think it really does because I think it's not, it's such this, it's a subtle situation that Jamie is in, right? This is a kid who screwed up and parents who tried their best and made the choices that they thought were right and then realized maybe they weren't always the right choices and who hasn't been there with kids, right? And it shows how easy it is for some of this toxic messaging to get its hands on kids and they start repeating what they heard and it self-fulfills and here you are.
I went into this expecting it to be all about social media.
Yeah.
That's just a part of this. It is incel culture, it's
Yes.
masculinity, it is device addiction, it's pornography, it's body
Yeah.
shaming, it's cyberbullying. I mean, they really did cast a pretty wide net.
Yeah.
Am I missing anything?
I think that yeah, it's very easy for parents, for any of us to, oh, he's talking to friends online. It must be a social experience, you know.
Mhm.
What are they talking about? And making sure to have those conversations when you hear about topics like the ones brought up in adolescence, about incel culture, about masculinity, about this, what terms are your friends using? What are you guys talking about? And so having conversations, being involved in it yourself, and knowing that they're having those experiences really goes a long way.
But do you think this is something that most parents should open themselves up to saying?
I think it's a really worthwhile watch for many reasons. I mean, it's a really well done show. Like it's gonna get you in the feels. I mean, I was
Mm.
crying like a baby the last episode. It was so, as a parent, like it was really hard to watch. But I think because it's not like it has a very strong, powerful message, but it's not banging you over the head with it. It is anybody could find themselves in this situation. Let's try to make sure it's not us and it's not you, and learn from these characters' mistakes or problems or issues. You know, I think it's a very worthwhile watch. I think it's a worthwhile watch with teens if
Mhm.
you are up for it. So I think, you know, you're going to find your own comfort zone based on your family, your kids, your experiences. But I definitely think it's something that people should consider taking a look at. It's only 4 episodes. It's pretty quick
Mhm.
watch, honestly.
You do have some language, you do have some themes. So for parents that do say, hey, you know what, I might want to consider watching this with my kids, how should they discuss some of those things that are maybe outside the bounds of the content they would normally let their kids see?
But I think if you preface it by saying, listen, this is a heavy show. I mean, I talked to my daughter about it before she started watching it. I said, I'm watching this. I want to watch it. I'm watching it for work. I need to see what's going on. And I told her, I said, it's about this kid who, you know, all the stuff that happened. And, you know, it's very serious. It's very upsetting, but I think it's worth watching. And then if you take the time during the watch to stop and talk about what you're seeing, if after every episode or in between episodes, the beauty of watching something like this on a platform at home is that you can stop and talk at any point,
Mm.
right? You can just say, "What do you think about that?" Or, "Do you know anyone who's heard those? Have you heard those terms? Have you heard anyone having conversations about those kinds of topics?"
But it does bring up these questions, these issues about the current state of adolescence. Is the sky falling? You know, how concerned should parents be about some of the topics and the themes that the show suggests?
There is no doubt that social media has its very own set of risks and challenges, and we need to take action to make sure that teens are having safe, thoughtful, well-designed experiences on them. I think that we can find the good in these platforms as well as the dangerous. So I think rather than panic, the way to approach it is with educating ourselves. One of the ways to do that is to watch a show like Adolescence and educating ourselves to know what is happening on which platforms and make sure we know how to address those conversations with our kids.
Okay, so then what's the silver lining in all this? What's the positive message when it's all said and done?
Positive message. Well, I think this it's a great awareness raiser, this show particularly. I think a beautifully done, well acted, well made show that is getting a lot of attention for the right reasons. I think
Mhm.
that's a silver lining. Like it's not a total pearl clutching experience. It is a thoughtful, let's have a conversation experience. And to me, that is a very silver lining because gut reactions to things that are very black and white aren't
Mhm.
going to get us far at the end of the day. Having a shades of gray conversation, I think, is very important. And I think it's maybe helping parents get more involved, or making parents realize the importance of being really involved in their kids' online lives.